Let's discuss some BTC price and other Bitcoin news with our CoinDesk Week in Review panel. We've got Managing Editor of Technology, Christie, Harkin, Toronto, and Managing Editor of Markets, Brad Keoun in Austin. Welcome, Christie and Brad. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
The Lightning Network, and we've got some news on this front. Bitcoin's Lightning Network could be getting a privacy upgrade. That's the latest article on CoinDesk.com right now. And one new standard being developed by Blockstream is already running on the company's core Lightning implementation. Christie, what do we know about this?
Well, just to be sure here, this is not like brand new breaking news or anything. This is something that's been going on for a long time, but it's always good to have sort of a roundup update of something that is being worked on and that, is in the works, because Bitcoin moves slowly and carefully, of course, as you hear me say all the time. And it's just nice to be able to report on something that is going to be important to quite a few people down the road who want to preserve their privacy when they're sending payments over the Lightning Network. Now, the Lightning Network is a second layer protocol that's built right on top of Bitcoin that allows for faster, cheaper payments, practically free payments at this point. Super duper fast. And there is some element of privacy compared to on-chain, like right on the Bitcoin blockchain transactions, but there are still ways of leaking who is sending what to whom. So what we're looking at now are a couple of options that developers are working on. Probably the most important one, the one that is most likely to have wide success, is what's called Bolt 12. Bolt is just a proposed proposal that is going to be added to the Lightning Network. We've got BIPs for the main blockchain, and then we've got bolts. So this is Bolt 12. So it's a proposal of a way that they can fix or at least improve privacy on the Lightning Network. And what's cool about this is last year you heard me talking an awful lot, and you saw a lot of information out there about Taproot and how Taproot was going to improve privacy on Bitcoin. Well, this is one practical application. In one part of Bolt 12 is that it actually uses Schnorr signatures. And that's the new signature that was introduced with Taproot for Bitcoin. It's been around a long time. Schnorr signatures have been around a while, but Taproot is what enabled Schnorr signatures to be used on Bitcoin. So what happens there is when, for example, when you send a payment across Lightning and it merges on the other end and it gets finally resolved on the blockchain, it just looks like a normal vanilla one-of-one signature as opposed to a multi-signature, which kind of lets anybody looking at the blockchain know, something different happened with this signature. It's not just a normal signature. Maybe we should look into that more carefully. This is just going to be a plain old signature now. That's just one aspect of Bolt 12. There's lots of other interesting stuff that goes on. And there are other options as well. Besides Bolt 12, there's something called LNURL and another one called LN proxy. Now, the difference with those is that Bolt 12 is on the protocol level. It's something that gets baked into the Lightning Network protocol, whereas LN proxy and LNURL are more application level. So it depends on where you want those changes to happen. So a lot of really good stuff happening, again, slowly but surely, and this may eventually, it's being used sort of in beta mode right now, some of these solutions, but they're coming. They're coming probably, soonish in Bitcoin years.
Interesting. Great Bitcoin technology update, Christie. Also, we have Brad back with us. Brad, good to have you. So what I was saying before, when we take a look at the Bitcoin markets, whales, that is large investors, have cut back on their holdings of BTC since about June. And that's one of the reasons that we've been seeing the price slide for Bitcoin. Also, economists are pretty bearish on the economy in general. And so Bitcoin is trading pretty much where it was last week. Is this the bottom or the calm before going even lower?
Yeah, I don't think the market has really decided on that in terms of, there's not much conviction right now. One thing that is clear is we have been trading sideways for the past week or two. right around the $17,000 level. I'm sure a lot of the bulls are grateful just for that after, the FTX chaos of November, and just looking at the numbers today, we're actually flat December to date, which, again, that's the new up. So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, on the flip side, there has been some good news for Bitcoin in a sense, not for the rest of the crypto markets. For instance, Senator Lummis, who is behind one of the more important pieces of bipartisan crypto legislation in the works, told me earlier this week that Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that can be considered a commodity because Ether is now a security thanks to September's Ethereum merge. And we have a clip. Let's have a listen.
I think it's possible for it to be sufficiently decentralized that it could later be deemed a commodity. But right now, I think it's a security because of the way when they move from proof of work to proof of stake, the way in which it is validated or used on the staking and the inability to destake right now, I think make it susceptible to being a security.
Mm-hmm. All right, what do you think, Brad? Good for Bitcoin?
I mean, in general, Senator Lummis, based on all I can tell, is quite aligned with the Bitcoin side of the industry. So I think her comments should be taken for a grain of salt. Although obviously, there's a lot of people who agree with what she says. And, Ether's an interest-bearing instrument now, if you think about it, as a staking asset. In terms of what it means for Bitcoin, Omkar Godbole, he had a smart story out this week noting that in this latest sell-off, that in November, that Bitcoin dominance held pretty firm around 40%. Whereas often in these sell-offs, you'll see Bitcoin dominance go way up. It's sort of like the reverse of the altcoin season. It's, within crypto, again, we've talked about this in the past, Bitcoin is seen as the safe asset. And so the question is, why didn't Bitcoin go up more relative to some of these altcoins? And one of the theories is people are just getting out of crypto altogether. If you were Bitcoin, you're getting out of Bitcoin too. So, that's just another talking point in the market.
Mm-hmm. Well, another potential catalyst for Bitcoin, a positive catalyst, is this copper theory, which, if true, could mean the economy is on the mend, or there could be a fake out. Maybe you can explain to folks what the copper theory is.
Okay, well, this is a really smart column this week by our markets team analyst, Glenn Williams. And, stepping back in traditional markets, people refer to copper as the metal with a PhD, or Dr. Copper, because it does have an uncanny ability to, the price direction of copper is often seen as a leading indicator of where the economy is headed. And that's just because, copper is used in building houses, and when we build machines, there's copper in the wires. Anything that you're going to build in sort of an expanding economy is going to need some copper. And so what Glenn noted is it seems like the copper Bitcoin correlation has suddenly increased. And that's interesting because, up until a couple months ago, Bitcoin was trading along with stocks. And now stocks are kind of going up, copper's kind of going down. But, anyway, copper's up the past few days. You can see it in that chart. And maybe the concern is that copper will actually, okay, so do you believe copper, or do you believe that copper is going to follow, economic truth? But, I think that was the point Glenn was making, is that the economy is not looking great. And the Fed, they're only at, 4% now, and the inflation's at 7%. So they still got a lot of tightening to do. And so, the idea is that the economy is really in for a reckoning, and that might bring copper prices down. And if Bitcoin travels along, That's
Yeah.
bad for Bitcoin.